Guam, the People's Bank. From the Pacific News Center in Hagåtña, Guam, here's Clint Ridgell and Janella Carrera with Betsy Brown and Roselle Romanes. PNC Sports with Blake Watson. And weather with Joanna O. With your news now.
Hafide and good evening, Guam. You're watching PNC's News Now. We're broadcasting live in Guam and in Saipan. I'm Janella Carrera.
And I'm Clint Ridgell. Topping your news tonight, Tropical Storm Bobby is now northeast of Pohnpei, and it's moving westward, heading on a track that will take it south of Guam. NWS forecaster Chip Gard delivered a weather briefing this afternoon at Guam Civil Defense.
The track's taking it south of Guam. There's still some uncertainty as to the track, but it looks like most of it is going to be whether it's just going to go a little bit farther to the south. The track's been pretty well behaved, but it looks like it might even flatten out a little bit more to the south.
Right now, it's tracking to pass about 20 miles south of Guam. Gard says Tropical Storm Bobby is expected to approach the Mariana Islands by late Sunday night or early Monday morning.
Right now, CPA is going to be sometime around midnight, late Sunday night, early Monday morning.
The forecast is for Guam to begin receiving 39-mile-per-hour winds at 6 p.m., 58-mile-per-hour winds by 9 p.m., and possibly up to 70-mile-per-hour winds by 11 p.m. on Sunday night.
We plan on going to a typhoon watch tonight, and a typhoon watch means that typhoon conditions are possible within the next 48 hours. Right now we're not expecting them. So tomorrow we'll most likely go to sometime tomorrow we'll most likely go to a tropical storm warning.
So, NWS is planning for a typhoon watch tonight, and if the storm does not intensify much more after tonight, then they plan on moving into a tropical storm warning by tomorrow. And when it reaches the Marianas, it is expected to be either a strong tropical storm or potentially a weak typhoon.
In what sounds like an episode of Man vs. Wild, a Totu resident was viciously attacked by a deer this morning, leaving him with head and chest injuries. Mike Cepeda is fortunate to be alive, and he owes it to the heroic efforts of his wife, his aunt, and his cousin, who helped him fight off the buck.
And then reality hit, I go, I'm going to die.
Mike Cepeda was getting ready for the day around 6 this morning when he got a call from his aunt, who lives just next door, to tell him that there was a deer wandering the neighborhood. Curious, Mike went outside. The deer was loose, he says, but had what appeared to be a rope hanging off of it. He stood at the edge of his driveway to keep an eye on the buck, but by then it was too late. The deer ferociously charged at him. Mike says from there, instinct kicked in, saving him from life-threatening injuries.
Then when he did this dance, that's when I realized it happened so fast, and then he turned.
You didn't even have a chance to run away?
No, I was standing here and he just charged. So I had to grab it as he was heading for me here. I guided it and then I got stabbed here. And if I didn't hold back, I think he would have punched it right through.
From there, says Mike, the deer flipped him into the ground and dragged him some 20 feet through the asphalt as he wrestled with the deer in an effort to take it down.
That's pretty strong. I mean, I'm over 200 pounds. And he was able to drag me.
It was through the heroic efforts of 3 women that Mike would be able to survive. His aunt, his wife, and his cousin bravely fought off the buck for what felt like forever. Finally, Mike's cousin, Tashana Smith, grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed the buck in the back.
I have health issues, so I was so strong, and I kept pulling on it. I kept screaming, help. It was very, very emotional. My granddaughter didn't want to go to school. My grandnephew didn't want to go to school because he wanted to make sure that his father was okay. It's traumatizing.
What did you think was happening?
I think he was gonna die.
You thought your daddy was gonna die? Oh, he must have been so scared. Were you crying?
Yeah.
Are you happy that daddy's okay now?
Well, Mike Cepeda met with police officers this afternoon to file a report. He says he was told by officers at the Agana precinct that police tried to restrain the buck, but it attacked another man in the neighborhood, so police had no choice but to put it down. Mike says that it's possible the deer was being kept as a pet by a distant neighbor, but he says he's never seen a deer in his neighborhood in the past.
Oh dear. Well, Gov Guam is preparing for the worst with Tropical Storm Bobby. Governor Calvo and Rear Admiral Bet Bolivar, commander of Joint Region Marianas, declared Condition of Readiness 3, or Core 3, for Guam and Joint Region Marianas late this afternoon. Core 3 means damaging winds of 39 to 57 miles per hour are expected within 48 hours. Gov Guam stays open with normal operations during Core 3. Businesses typically maintain regular hours of operation during Core 3 as well. Residents are also being urged to prepare. Guam Homeland Security and Office of Civil Defense spokesperson Dee Cruz explains.
Go gas your car, do your laundry, make sure your medication is filled, get some perishable items, batteries, and stuff. And if you have any questions in regards to exactly what it is you need to do if you're unsafe in your house, then give us a call down here at the JIC 475-9600, or follow us on Facebook, Guam Homeland Security, or the governor's page, or they can get us on our website, ghs.guam.gov.
Residents are also advised to begin securing loose items around their homes and yards and get shutters ready in case they are needed.
The quick fix maintenance plan proposed by Gov Guam for Route 4 safety enhancements could actually be more hazardous. According to solid waste federal receivers Gershman, Brickner, and Bratton, they are asking the court to reject portions of Gov Guam's interim maintenance plan. The governor's office filed its quick fix maintenance plan earlier this month, and after reviewing the proposal, solid waste receivers Gershman, Brickner, and Bratton say they believe it could prove more hazardous than helpful. In their response, GBB says some parts of the proposal are adequate, but most of these were already discussed in an independent inspection sought by GBB called the Winsler and Kelly Report, or W&K Report. These include 5 interim improvements to the southern portion of Route 4 that leads up to the Ladon landfill. 1, to remove vegetation. 2, to remove rock outcrops. 3, to place warning signs at marginal curves to alert motorists. 4, the use of pilot escorts for trucks. And 5, the addition of shoulders along the curves. Some of the Department of Public Works' recommendations are similar to the W&K report, according to GBB, but one in particular is problematic, they say. It's DPW's proposal to increase the width of the roadway along the curves. GBB says Gov Guam's proposal does not include relocation of guardrails and is silent on the removal of rock outcrops along the roadway. Quote, if DPW simply widens the shoulders without moving the guardrails and eliminating the outcrops from the sidewalls of the road, then drivers could find themselves in a more dangerous situation, the report reads. As a result, GBB is asking the court to reject Gov Guam's proposal and to require that the widening aspect of the roadway be followed as recommended by the W&K report. And you can read GBB's response online at pacificnewscenter.com.
Congresswoman Madeline Bradallo spoke about Guam's political status, veterans issues, the military buildup, health care, and the environment, among other things, during her annual congressional report last night. Here's more. Congresswoman Madeline Bradallo spoke first about political status and about how Guam has been unable to, quote, move off of square one with regards to its political status.
So I believe that we must get on with this process, and I'm urging the governor and the legislature to work with the Commission on Decolonization to begin the process so that we can make the self-determination vote a reality.
The Congresswoman says she wants to remove the requirement that a certain percentage of voters be registered to vote for self-determination, and instead set a deadline for registration and then proceed with the vote. She urged local leaders and residents to join and support the We the People project.
I am honored to be a part of a legal effort led by my former staffer, Attorney Neil Weir, and joined by many people on Guam, including Levin Camacho, who are challenging the status quo through a current case before the D.C. Court of Appeals and other cases they may file to overturn the insular cases.
The Congresswoman also spoke about her latest attempt at war reparations, saying it is not a futile attempt.
I believe that this issue must be resolved or local support for the military buildup would be eroded.
And the Congresswoman also spoke about the need for increased compact impact funding from the federal government.
About 200 students from Guam's public middle and high schools learned about science, technology, engineering, and math fields at the University of Guam and the Guam Community College during the two-day STEM Summit held yesterday and today. PNC's Rizal Romanes has more in this report.
O's, ahs, and wow. That's what we heard as middle and high school students learn how to build a robot, navigate it through different terrains, observe bacteria under a microscope, and design a blueprint for a tall freestanding tower. These students participated in the two-day Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, or STEM Summit, organized by the Guam Community College's College Access Challenge Grant Program.
It's actually a two-day summit. Day one is here at University of Guam, so that the students again are exposed to different types of careers and majors that are related to STEM.
One of the presentations that fascinated students is the Tall Tower Challenge by UOG professor Dr. Cheryl Sangüenza, which demonstrates structural engineering. Students were put in groups and tasked to build the tallest tower using pipe cleaners. Sounds easy enough? Nope. There's a catch.
I've divided the schools, so they're working with people they don't know. And the constraints I put in there is like they have to put one hand behind their back, so they have to figure out. Another constraint is they can't speak.
That's not it. The fun continued today at the Guam Community College, where students learned about environmental biology and robotics.
Engineering and mathematics and even technology is going to be the wave of the future for science. And so we're trying here to inspire the students to get into the hands-on learning and training, because it's not just all about the books. It's all about getting to touch it and to learn it.
GCC science professor Dr. Anthony Sunga gave students a chance to build a robot and learn how to operate it using technology. He explains what students can learn from robotics.
Robotics, you could play with the robots, but why is it so important about learning about the electronics and how things work? Because it's not just about buying a robot, it's about building it for a very specific task. But you need to know the engineering, you need to know the mathematics about it. When we hear the screams and we hear the O's and ahs, that's when we know that learning is actually happening.
Rizal Romanes, PNC News.
All right, let's check in now with PNC's Blake Watson to find out what's ahead in sports.
Hey, hope you've made all the preparations. Now you're just enjoying the news. Don't worry. I've done the same. Well, almost hit me in the face. You got to watch out for that. And you also got to watch out for opening up an umbrella on Friday the 13th indoors. But it's okay, because I'm prepared for the storm. You should be prepared for sports. Baseball, softball, NBA Boulevard sports. I'll see you there. It's nice, man.